today's discussion topic. Goals, strategies, and tactics. These are words that we gotta understand. Understanding these words help you understand the depth and the richness that you can have in play. And not understanding these words can kind of keep you a little limited in your idea of play, right? Because what I have is this. I had this discussion where somebody is asking me a question, and it's easier for me to make this video than type this shit out, right? Discovering video is the worst thing that ever happened in my writing. Because I used to write articles all the time because I had ideas that I had to get about, and the only way I had to get about was fucking through my fingers. And now I'm like fucking boop while I'm driving. It's fucking great. Yeah, so video, what's that song? Video killed the radio star. Like, video killed my writing career. Anyway, so the question was, we were discussing play, and they were asking about my dog likes this game, like tug or possession, and my dog likes this game, fetch, like chase and catch, whatever you want to call it. But like, they like these two games, but they're wondering if there was something kind of in the middle or whatever. And I was saying, like, don't get so hung up on a name. Don't get so hung up on a name of the game. And then the question they asked me in response to that was, well, isn't the name of a game like the way that you communicate to somebody else when you're talking about the game or whatever? So like, if games have, like, for a game to be a game and not an activity, it's got to have goals, boundaries, and penalties, right? We need goals, boundaries, and penalties. The goal is, what are we trying to do? Like, are we trying to get possession of the toy, or are we just chasing the toy, bringing it back for another chance to chase? Do I have to run up the wall to get the toy? Do I have to do obedience just right to get toys? Are we free shaping to get food? Like, what is the goal? Like, what's the goal? How do you play this fucking game? And so if the goal, and like, if you're going to play the game, there's boundaries. You can't, if we're playing tug, you can't take my finger off to make me let go of the toy. That's against the rules. So if there's boundaries and goals and boundaries and penalties, you have to be specific. You can't just be willy-nilly. Like catch, the game of catch in the backyard, it's not really a game because nobody can win, nobody can lose. If I drop the ball every time you throw it to me, there's like, I don't lose points, you don't win, I don't get penalized. Like, it's just, it's not a game. It's playful, but it's not a game. And so this guy was thinking, like, well, what do you mean don't get hung up on a game? I thought games were specific, like you have a goal and you have boundaries, and the name that you give the game is essentially just naming a parameter of goals and boundaries. And that is true. That is the point. The point of naming a game to a person or to a dog, if you want to get specific, the point of naming a game is to have a real quick 1 second communication tool to say, this potentially complicated set, this goal and this potentially complicated set of boundaries are what I need to communicate to you. Now, it would take me fucking 2 hours to explain rugby, all the goal, the length of the field, and all the shit, and the rules, and whatever. But I can just go rugby, and you go, got it, and now you have this entire list. You have the goal, you have the understanding of the boundaries and the penalties, you know the parameters, like, instantly. That's the value of naming a game. But in naming the game, you're just naming the goals and the boundaries and penalties. That's the framework of the game, and that needs to be very specific. The game is very specific. But what I mean about don't get hung up in the name of a game, or don't get hung up in the specificity of a game, is we're talking about the strategies and tactics that you will utilize in the game. You know what I mean? So like, people when they play tug Tug should be a very specific game. It's the game of attempting to get possession, right? You're attempting to get possession of the toy. And the boundaries are, I'm not going to use pain or anything that the dog should reasonably fear. Like, I'm not going to, you wouldn't know what, I'm not going to take fire and jam it at his face, you know what I mean? Like, I might use things he shouldn't fear, like a vacuum cleaner or a door slam, to teach him not to come off the grip for temptations and distractions. But I'm not going to actually make him choose between his true physical safety and holding the grip. Or I'm not going to physically injure him. I'm not going to poke him in the eye. I'm not going to twist his fucking foot till it hurts. And likewise, I expect him not to use pain on me. You know, he might put his paw on me and that might scratch me a little bit. Like, I might bat his side around and that might, a little bump and grind or whatever. But, like, I'm not going to fucking stick my finger in his eye. He's not going to put holes in my flesh. So we have boundaries, right? And then there's penalties. If I break a boundary with him, he might penalize me by not wanting to play. If he breaks a boundary with me, I might penalize him by not wanting to play. So it's like there's goals, boundaries, and penalties. But just because those are very specific, the way you play is not. The way you play should be totally free inside those goals, boundaries, and penalties. And so it's like people will swing the dog around and smash, 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 swing, swing, cover the eyes. They'll go left, right, up, down, cover the eyes, smack the butt. Left, right, up, down, cover the eyes, smack the butt. And they keep doing this and they call that is tug. Now, they're not just naming the goal, boundaries, and penalties. They're naming the strategies and tactics, and moreover, in that example, they're even naming, they're getting beholden to a particular cycle. Up, down, left, right, cover the eyes, smack the butt. Up, down, left, right, cover the eyes, smack the butt. Like, they're the person that always, throws the ball for the first two plays and then runs it for the last play, and that's the way they play football. Like, they just do that pattern over and over again. So it's like most people get hung up not just on the goals, boundaries, and penalties of a game, but they get hung up on a particular set of strategies, a particular set of tactics, and those strategies and those tactics are going to elicit different aspects of play. So the aspects of play, search, chase, fight, celebrate, consume, like all those aspects of play. Did I miss one? Search, stalk, chase, fight, celebrate. Anyway, so whatever, I missed one. You know what I'm talking about, the aspects of play. The strategies that you employ are going to spin different dials. So if you're thinking purely about winning the game, you are free to experiment with any strategies you like. Because who gives a shit about the other person's experience? You're just trying to win. However, the interesting thing about play is for play to continue, we have to adjust for our play partner. Because if we play a game that is not enjoyable for the play partner, they will go, I don't enjoy this, and they'll stop playing and now the game is over. So if I'm constantly trying strategies, one, if you look at success rate, and two, you look at enjoyable in the game, right? So like if the strategies that I'm trying, like I'm trying to pull the toy forcibly out of their face, so I'm swinging them around and I'm twisting and turning and smashing them into stuff, that strategy that I'm trying to use, we got to look at if I am super fucking successful to the point where the dog goes, this is stupid, I can't win, I'm going to lose my dog. So I'm going to have to adjust my strategy for success rate in order to play partner match. And if I'm trying that strategy and I'm just bad at it, like a little 5-year-old kid and a toy with no straps and like fucking 80-pound dog, the dog can just stand there blinking while the kid pulls his hardest on the toy, and it's not enjoyable. A lot of dogs will be like, this is boring, you can't match me, you can't match my strength, this is not enjoyable, and they'll quit the game. Now a good dog will play style match. You'll see them go, all right, kid, and they'll pull more gently so the kid can stay in the game. Or if I'm working with a dog that I have way more power than, I will pull more gently so I can get the dog to stay in the game. So play partner matching is an important skill to have. And that's cool, but and some people discuss intensity levels and play partner matching, but then they don't discuss the style, the strategies and tactics that you choose affect the enjoyability. It's early. I'm on the way to an early morning lesson, and I don't do caffeine anymore, so I'm stuck on that word. Pleasure, we'll use that word. It changes the level of pleasure the dog has in playing the game. And so it's like, if your dog likes chase and catch, your dog loves the chase, and you're like, but I want to, you know what I mean? Like, he loves the chase, but like chase and catch, fetch is generally considered a supportive game, a non-competitive game. You're facilitating. You throw the toy, they bring it back. You throw the toy, they bring it back. It's not a competitive game. You're facilitating their ability to chase and catch this ball. You are not opposing them and trying to beat them and trying to thwart them. And so they'll go, man, my dog loves chase, but, we play tug and he likes that, but is there an in-between? It's not that there's some magical new in-between game. It's that what you have to do is you have to think about strategies and tactics that elicit the chase response. So, like, I'm going to try to play a game of keep away when I have the toy and the dog doesn't. I'll hold it up here, I'll move it from side to side, I'll run with it. Like, it looks like you're playing basketball or something, like I'm trying to keep the ball away from you. And the response I'm eliciting, the strategy is keep away. The tactic, so I guess we got to have this discussion, the strategies and tactics. Strategies are what you're trying to accomplish. Tactics are how you're going to accomplish it. So if the house is on fire and I'm going to employ the strategy, get the fuck out of the house. My strategy is get the fuck out of the house. My tactic is, do I go out the door? Do I go out the front door, the back door, the side door, the window, the escape hatch, whatever. Strategy, put the fucking fire out. Like, make fire go away. Tactic, throw a blanket over it, bucket of water, fire extinguisher, blow on it. What are you going to do? Like in football, there's two strategies. There's throw the ball and there's run the ball. Those are the only two strategies. The tactics are run it very short, do da-da-da-da-da, and all this kind of bullshit, right? So there's a bunch of strategical changes, but there's only a couple strategies. Okay, so dogs. Strategy, keep the toy away from the dog. Tactic, turn where they can't get access. I'm not running. I'm not swinging the toy around. I look like I'm playing basketball. I'm playing keep away. So that's going to elicit a chase response because they're trying to get to it, but it also is going to elicit a little bit of stalking, like they're going to make a play and look for an angle, and make a play and look for an angle. And it's a bit of bumping and pushing. So it's chase, but also a little bit of fight and a little bit of stalk. If I had tactic, keep the toy away from the dog, strategy, make misses, the dog's jumping and I'm making misses, so I'm standing pretty stationary, but the dog is making a whole fucking lot of movement. That's less bumping, so less fight. That's less stalking because they're not looking for the shot. They're just launching through the air. That's a lot of chase. But some dogs would prefer that style of jumping, launching chase to running chase. So I could go strategy, keep the toy away from the dog, tactic, run away, where I hold the toy in front and I just run as fast as I can and try to run around objects and shit like that. And now they're having to actually travel through space and chase me. So in the game of tug, in the game of possession, I can play a possession game, I can play a competition game, but my choice of strategies and tactics are gonna make the game feel differently to the dog, right? And so that's how I can get in and get a dog that's fired up if they really enjoy chasing. And I want to play a competitive game. I don't want to just facilitate tossing the toy. I want to play a competitive game. I can elicit the chase response, like for sure. I can make it where I can throw the toy, but instead of just throwing the toy and standing there, it's a competitive game. I can throw the toy and then race them to it, so we can set up this moment. It's like the beginning of a basketball game where do they do this in basketball? Or is this hockey? Where they throw the thing up in the air. Yeah, I think that's basketball. Yeah. So like the beginning of a basketball game where you're standing there and you throw it up in the air. Way, traffic stops suddenly. Way. I hate people. You throw the ball up in the air, and in that very beginning moment, phase of possession, nobody has, and we try to get it, right? So it's the same thing. I can set little moments like that up. I can throw the toy, not to facilitate, good boy, come on back, like where I'm mixing the goals. I'm not switching from competitive to non-competitive. I throw the toy and then I race them to go get it. And we can set up a competitive moment of attempting to get possession. But the dog might like that more than they like the phase of possession. Both of us have the toy, aspect of play, fight, strategy choice on my part, leverage and technique, power to rip the toy out of the face is the strategy, tactics, swing the dog around and lift the dog up. So yes, you should define games. Their goals, boundaries, and penalties should be fixed and defined, and it's easy to communicate that with a person by saying possession or tug. But you shouldn't mistakenly think that the game is defined by strategic and tactical choices, because that will limit the dogs that you can reach and the way that you can modulate play inside that game. So inside the game, be free and expressive, and don't get hung up on a particular strategy, a particular tactic, or a particular pattern. Even if you have two or three different, this happens with fucking fighters all the time. They'll have 2 or 3 really good combinations. They'll go jab, cross, left, kick. They'll go jab, head movement, uppercut, hook, and they have 2 really nice combinations. And then they just spin the entire fight. You'll see they'll do this one twice, and then they'll fall into this one on the third, and then they have a little bit of a reset, and then they do this one twice, and then they do this one on the third. And again, if a dog finds that comforting and enjoyable, do it on purpose. But if you get a dog that suddenly is like a little bored, maybe they're bored because you're repeating a pattern and the game seems less fun. It's like a video game that's stuck on the same 3 challenges in that order every time you do that level. You know what I mean? Like maybe that they're bored because of the pattern. So anyway, yes, define the game in the goals, boundaries, and penalties. Define the shit out of it, make a name for it so you communicate it to other people. And when you play with your dog, there's no change. Like that game has these goals, boundary, penalties forever. But don't mistakenly watch somebody good play and believe that's what that game looks like, because that game looks like that because those 2 beings, this one's trying this set of strategies and tactics, this one's trying this set of strategies and tactics, and they're both doing a little bit of play partner matching inside their chosen strategies and tactics. And the combination of those 3 things, this one's strategies and tactics, this one's strategies and tactics, and play partner matching between the 2, that game is going to look a very particular way. But that game would look different if you add another dog. If either of the beings playing are skillful, add another being on either side of that equation, and the game should look different. Because there might be a new interplay of strategies and tactics, because your strategies and tactics change the strategies and tactics that I have to choose, and vice versa. And because we're changing different strategies and tactics, we're going to have to both watch the results and play partner match. So add one new person or one new being into that game, and everything should change. It shouldn't look the same. And so that's what I say, don't get stuck in shake, turn, cover the eyes, swat the butt, or whatever, because you'll get stuck not thinking about the actual interplay between the two of you. Try different strategies, try different tactics, spin different dials in different combinations. You know what I mean? And like, your game shouldn't look the same day to day as it does dog to dog. You know what I mean? Like, it should change for every dog. It should change based on the mood of the dog, because you have to play partner match, and every day is slightly different, So anyway, that's what I meant when you hear me say, don't get stuck, don't be in a fixed set, don't get so stuck. Tug means this. It does mean goals, boundaries, penalties, for sure, 100% means it. It does not dictate strategies, tactics, and strategies, tactics, and play partner matching require that your game has fluidity to it, and it adjusts dog to dog, moment to moment, day to day. Right? That's it. Hope that helps.